Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Thank you for tuning into the video. So, today's topic is going to be how Jehovah's Witnesses practice conditional love. Uh, I wanted to, before I get into the video, I just wanted to say I've had some comments now about people saying just who I'm sure are, if they're not Jehovah's Witnesses, they were associated and are Jehovah's Witness sympathizers, but have said, why won't you just leave and quietly leave and not speak out and say anything basically on my channel, which it's I have every right to give my experience about being a former Jehovah's Witness and create this channel, and if you don't like it, please get lost. So this video is starting, it's not going to be positive things about Jehovah's Witnesses, and if that bothers you, please leave. I don't need you here. So we'll get right into it now. So it is very conditional. You must um, believe everything that they teach and not question anything, um, and just go by the book to be accepted and loved by everybody who is in and believes that organization, which is the major reason that I think that they're so toxic. There's no reason that we shouldn't be able to have a difference of opinion, that I can't be like, well, I don't agree with everything that you believe and I just don't want to be part of this anymore. And despite that, you will have friends and family who you are extremely close to just completely disregard you. Well, not disregard you, could treat you like you're dead, like you don't exist, because you say, I don't agree with all of these things. So, and this started back the first time I ever thought about this, but I was still very much a Jehovah's Witness, was a few years after I was baptized. And it was one of those things, how when you're alone in the evening or whatever and just kind of thinking about some things, and I'm sure some things had happened. I don't remember exactly all of the details of why my brain went here, but I remember just thinking, if I there well I remember it was after they started doing the broadcasts, and the governing body was really putting themselves out there and starting to make themselves, in my opinion, well, go look for yourself, making themselves celebrities among the Jehovah's Witness community. So they were always like very against like TV evangelists and things, but if you have access to the internet, you can go to JW Broadcasting and see how the leaders of the organization, the the company that they peddle as a religion, were very much making themselves online TV evangelists, basically. And this started years ago. I think it was somewhere around 2013, I want to say. But so there were things like that that were happening that were bothering me. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, I can't, like, if I were to leave or be like, I don't agree now anymore because there's ridiculous things happening. I remember thinking, like, everybody, like all of the friends that I had made and a lot of family members that I have, like, I'll never hear from them again if I'm like, I don't agree with this and I'm done. And so, and that's extremely true, extremely toxic. Um, and I, yeah, this is a big reason why I left. Just that kind of thinking. Like, I was thinking about you realize how many things people disagree on in life. Like, I'm like, any friends that I've had who weren't Jehovah's Witness, or who even were Jehovah's Witnesses, But even if you have friends that aren't Jehovah's Witnesses, you might disagree politically, on fashion, on some foods that you like and dislike, everything in life. But you can't say, well, even if I, say I still am a believer of God, creation, which I am, but I disagree on these beliefs and practices of Jehovah's Witnesses. It doesn't sit well with me. Well, if you truly love somebody and you know that they're a decently good person, you would agree to disagree. So, like, that's fine. And that's how I am. Like, if you, I don't expect us to agree on everything. In fact, that would be boring if we just agreed on everything. But it's like, as a Jehovah's Witness, you cannot agree to disagree. You cannot question the governing body. And this would be, a Jehovah's Witness would hate hearing this, mostly because it's true, but they worship the governing body. I don't care what they say. They don't actually worship the creator, in my opinion. Um, Maybe 20%, but they 80% worship the governing body. And it's because you are taught what they say you must obey. Like, that is in that, I didn't even realize that was going to rhyme when it came out of my mouth. But they, I mean, that is just constantly pounded into your head. It, I don't remember it as much as when I was a kid, and I don't know if it's because I wasn't paying attention, but it wasn't until the governing body really started putting themselves out there on video, I think, like in the broadcasts and at assemblies, conventions, in little videos at meetings and things, that it was like, you must obey. It was always, they would always say, those taking the lead, you must obey, which your brain usually went to like the elders in the congregation, which they still do that, and that's a big one. But they're, the direction comes down from the governing body to the branch to the elders, and you must obey at all costs. And I really think there are witnesses out there that would do bat crap crazy things if the direction came down, whether it be through the elders or directly from the governing body, to go do things. And that's one thing that scares me a lot about this group, and why I wanted to cover this topic. But it's such conditional love. To be part of and accepted in this group, you have to talk a good game, make it known that you fully accept, you go to all the meetings, you are seen out in service, you're commenting at meetings, giving parts at meetings. So, and if you are not following all of that and just doing everything that the governing body says, then you are no good. And if you speak out against them, you are as good as dead. And so it is just conditional love. Jehovah's Witnesses do not know unconditional love. They only know conditional love. And it's funny because when I was leaving, word was getting out. It was before they even announced at the Kingdom Hall that I was no longer, what do they even say now? I think they say removed. I don't know. I wasn't there. But it was before that announcement was even made that I was removed as a Jehovah's Witness. Uh, I had a relative who was texting me, like very much trying, like thought they could talk me out of leaving, I guess, even though my mind was very made up. But I remember one of the things that they said to me was that I don't know what love is. And I just thought that was hilarious because, like, I I did not tell anybody that I was cutting them off. Everybody cut me off. They don't know what love is because it's conditional love. If I just say, I don't, all I said was, I don't agree with teachings that this religion has, and here are facts, some facts of why I don't believe this. And I mean, immediately people think that I think most people just think you don't believe in God anymore, which, I mean, I know there's some witnesses that leave and become atheists, and whatever, do you? But I mean, everybody who knows me knows I'm a good person. Uh, if I, you know, if we've been in some kind of friendship, familial relationship, whatever, for a long time, and I love you, I'll love you until the day I die. But I mean, people, it's so toxic, and it's such conditional love. It's strings attached love. You have to believe what they believe, and if you have any criticism against what they believe in, it's just they shut their brain off and it's game over. And they're just not willing. I mean, because that's what they're taught, and that's, I guess, the main point I want to put across in this video is just the Jehovah's Witness organization. I mean, they are 100% brainwashing people. So it's just you're constantly reminded that you have to follow the direction, anything they say. You're even told it might not make sense, like it might seem strange what they tell you to do at some point, especially as we approach Armageddon, which is always imminent but hasn't come in 150 years since this organization started. It's always, you have to just follow what they say. That's it. um they're, yeah, but it's but yeah, they are, Jehovah's Witnesses are very much conditional love, not unconditional love. So I believe in loving people unconditionally. Obviously, I mean, people can do horrible things and reveal who they really are, and then of course you have to have boundaries. But for the most part, if you're a good person and you're good to me and we have a good relational exchange, I will love you unconditionally. But Jehovah's Witnesses don't understand what that is or that concept, if they're in full hook, line, and sinker. So that is my little video for today. I think I said everything I wanted to say about that. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, as always, I will say, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Um, Leave a comment on your thoughts, and please like the video if you enjoyed the content. Have a good day. Take care.